Civil War 2024. In a near-future United States, the country is torn apart by a brutal civil war that has divided states, cities, and communities. The federal government struggles to maintain control, while powerful regional forces rise against it. Amid the chaos, veteran war photojournalist Lee Smith travels across the dangerous battlefield with her colleague Joel. Their goal is to reach Washington, D.C., and interview the controversial president before rebel forces capture the capital. Along the way, they document the terrifying reality of war inside their own country. For Lee, every photograph becomes proof of a collapsing nation and a warning. Lee and Joel are soon joined by Sammy, an experienced journalist who understands the risks of covering conflict. During their journey, they encounter Jesse, a young and ambitious photographer who dreams of becoming a legendary war reporter like Lee. Though inexperienced, Jesse insists on joining the dangerous trip to Washington. Lee reluctantly allows her to come, recognizing the determination in the young photographer. Together the group drives through ruined towns, abandoned highways, and military checkpoints. Every mile reminds them how deeply the country has fractured, with armed militias controlling territories and ordinary citizens struggling to survive. As they move deeper into the war zone, the journalists witness shocking scenes of violence and fear. In one small town, they encounter soldiers executing prisoners without trial. Lee captures the disturbing moment through her camera lens, documenting the cruelty of war. Jesse watches nervously, realizing the job she admired carries horrifying responsibilities. The journalists must remain observers, not participants, even when witnessing injustice. The experience begins changing Jesse's perspective about war photography. She learns that every photograph may reveal the truth, but it also comes with emotional consequences that stay with the photographer forever. Continuing their journey, the group drives through territory controlled by different armed factions. Some soldiers treat them with cautious respect, while others see journalists as potential threats. At one checkpoint, a mysterious militia leader questions them intensely, suspicious of their intentions. The tension becomes deadly when he asks each traveler where they are from, testing their loyalty in the divided nation. The moment feels terrifying because the wrong answer could mean execution. Lee carefully navigates the conversation, using calm confidence and experience to defuse the situation before the militia finally allows them to pass. As the journey continues, Jessie becomes increasingly determined to prove herself as a serious journalist. She begins capturing powerful photographs of destruction, refugees, and soldiers preparing for battle. Lee observes Jessie's growth with mixed emotions. Part of her feels proud, but another part worries that Jessie is losing her innocence too quickly. The horrors they witness begin shaping Jessie into the same hardened professional Lee once became. Meanwhile, reports on the radio reveal that rebel forces are rapidly advancing toward Washington, D.C., meaning the journalists must hurry if they hope to reach the president. While traveling through a devastated city, the group suddenly becomes trapped in the middle of an intense firefight between government soldiers and rebel fighters. Bullets tear through buildings as explosions echo through empty streets. The journalists take cover while continuing to photograph the battle. For them, documenting the truth is just as important as survival. Jessie experiences the full terror of war for the first time as soldiers fall around them. In the chaos, the group narrowly escapes with their lives. The moment reminds them that journalists in war zones face the same dangers as the soldiers themselves. The group eventually joins a military convoy heading toward Washington. The soldiers reveal that the capital is under siege by a powerful alliance of rebel states determined to overthrow the government. As they travel with the convoy, Lee and Jesse photograph exhausted troops preparing for the final battle. The atmosphere feels tense and uncertain, because no one knows how the conflict will end. Sammy reflects on decades of covering wars around the world, realizing he never expected to witness such destruction in his own country. The journey becomes not only a news mission, but a deeply personal experience. As they approach Washington, the sounds of war grow louder. Fighter jets roar overhead while artillery explosions shake the ground. The city skyline is filled with smoke from burning buildings. Rebel forces push toward the White House while government soldiers attempt to defend the Capitol. Lee and the other journalists carefully follow the advancing soldiers, documenting the historic moment as the battle for control reaches its climax. Jesse continues taking photographs despite the danger, determined to capture the truth of what is happening. The fall of the Capitol appears inevitable as the fighting intensifies. Inside Washington, the battle becomes chaotic and brutal. Soldiers move through government buildings room by room, searching for remaining defenders. Lee and Jesse follow closely behind, photographing every moment of the historic assault. During the fighting, tragedy strikes when Sammy is killed while trying to protect the younger journalists. His death reminds them that war spares no one. Despite the loss, Lee and Jesse continue their mission, knowing that documenting the truth was always Sammy's greatest belief. Their determination pushes them forward toward the final objective inside the heavily defended White House. The journalists finally reach the White House as rebel soldiers capture the remaining defenders. Inside the building, they witness the final moments of the president's rule. Soldiers drag him from hiding, ending his control over the broken nation. Jesse captures the powerful photograph of the moment, symbolizing the collapse of the government. Lee watches quietly, realizing that history has just changed forever. The war may continue, but this moment will become one of its defining images. As the cameras click, the journalists understand their photographs will shape how future generations remember the fall of their country.